Now that you have your offer, you are almost ready to go out into the world and start helping people. But first, we need to make sure that you know how to turn those who are interested in your offer into clients for your sake and for theirs. There's a quote I like. It says, "The sale is the hard bit. It's the mindfuck. It's the bit where you actually have to man up and decide you're good enough and worthy enough to actually accept someone's money and deliver them a result." Entrepreneurs take on pressure and responsibility, and they are paid for it, okay? So this can be a lot to handle if you're not used to selling yourself, if you're not used to taking responsibility for getting people results. So if you're new to this, you're going to feel pressure. You're going to feel the weight of the added responsibility, and for some of you, it will be motivating, and for others, it's enough to make you retreat to the safety of not having to sell yourself. So I'm just forewarning you, don't do it. Do not retreat. The rewards are limitless, both for you and for your clients. So lucky for you, we have an amazing sales process for you that's going to create a great experience for you and your prospect during the strategy session. Not only that, but it's going to allow you to skip the typical give them a proposal and let them think about it phase, and it's going to allow you to easily charge premium prices for what you have to offer. Does that sound good? If so, let's get started. Sales has a negative connotation only because people will try and sell you things that you don't want or need, and that's not the kind of selling we're going to do. All we're going to do is to diagnose our prospect's situation, and then only if we can help, we're going to give them the opportunity to enroll in the consulting offer. If they're not a good fit, we won't give them the opportunity. In other words, we're not pushing anything on them, but we may confront them about their situation and offer them the opportunity to transform their life. So we're going to cover how to structure your strategy sessions to close more clients, enroll more people, and grow your consulting practice to 6 figures and beyond. How to expertly facilitate decisions for your clients so they can commit to working with you the first time you talk. How to deal with pricing, payment plans, deposits, and more. How to enjoy sales even if you're an introvert and you hate selling. And I'm going to give you a step-by-step script to outline the entire process. So our agenda for this module, we're going to cover the prerequisites to success in sales in this video, and then we'll move on to the step-by-step sales script and process, including your own script in the next video. After that, we'll cover objection handling and closing and pricing, packaging, and payment plans. My promise to you is that I'll show you the methods clients use consistently across more than a dozen industries to enroll clients who show up, credit card in hand, ready to work with them for $2,500 to $10K per client with clients who appreciate them. So what is sales? As we've said, there's a lot of negative connotation around it. It brings up all sorts of things for everyone in here. But sales is the process of expertly facilitating a decision. Your prospect comes to you with a problem and they're looking for help. It's your duty to help them decide if they're ready to commit to getting this part of their life handled. You're selling a solution to pain or a solution to a problem. So it's not about your product. It's about your product as a means to an end for a specific problem that your prospect is experiencing. I say this over and over again, but you know I'm all about repetition. You are selling transformation, not your offer. Your offer is just the vehicle. The problem in sales is that most people can't make decisions, or they make poor decisions, and that is why they're experiencing these problems in their life. This meme says, I'm 100% certain that I'm 0% sure of what I'm going to do. This is most people. They would rather not make any decision at all than make the wrong decision, and as a result, they are paralyzed with fear. Now, why don't people make decisions? Could be that they're incapable, they don't have the ability or knowledge required to make a decision. They have poor value judgment. When someone spends thousands on a new couch instead of their emotional and or physical health, and they don't have the budget for that, they are making a poor value judgment. They could be cheap. They gravitate toward the lowest possible price, even though it's not in their best interest. They could be negligent. They just don't make a decision. They're stuck in inaction. And they could be habitually indecisive. Most people are guilty of this. They can't make a decision easily ever. They're just not used to doing it. Now you have to realize is that this behavior has gotten them into the painful situation that they are in today. So closing in sales is about having them act in a way that they habitually would not, that is beneficial to their well-being. So your job as a closer is to have them make a decision, either to work with you or to not. Either one is fine. The point is, we want them to stop being indecisive and make a decision about getting this handled in their life. Now, when you're selling your program, you must believe unquestionably in your value. You must truly believe that your prospect will be worse off without you, and that if you don't close them, you're doing them a disservice. You're letting them off the hook. If you do not close them, you're an enabler of the life they have now, and you're preventing them from getting the life they really want if only they could make a decision. So I want you to meet Mary. Imagine that Mary is a 37-year-old yoga teacher, and she comes onto a call for a strategy session. Now, I know all of you are in a variety of different industries and niches, so we're just going to pretend that she's in your niche, whatever that might be. So she comes on, she tells you about her hopes and her dreams, how she wants to quit her job and start a business. She tells you about her greatest struggles with relationships, with health, how she's afraid to be herself, how she's living in fear. So I don't know what industry you're in, but whatever it is, just imagine she comes and she tells you the greatest pains possible in your niche. And now imagine that Mary is on the fence, but she can't quite make a decision about getting this part of her life handled. She stews over it, but she ends up never deciding either way, which means she doesn't enroll in your program and you don't hear from her again. Now imagine calling Mary 6 months from now to check in with her. She tells you that she's exactly where she was before. In fact, she's now in an even worse position because she hasn't taken action. She's miserable. How does that make you feel? If you're anything like me, probably like you let Mary down. You could have changed her life and you didn't because you let her take the easy way out. You let her do what she always does and she got what she has always gotten. In this case, unhappiness. So most people struggle to make major decisions about getting what they want in life, and it's your job to help them decide if they're ready to move forward or stay where they are. It's your job to not let them make no decision at all. It's fine for them to say no, and it's fine for them to say yes. What we don't want is a non-decision. So this should be your frame. You're here to help, and your strategy session is in the best interest of your prospect. You going for the close is in the best interest of the prospect, and you're doing it for them, not for you. There are 4 prerequisites to actually going out there and doing this and getting the sale. Number 1 is you have to remove guilt, shame, and fear that you have around money or sales. So if you have fear, shame, or guilt, no amount of strategy or tactics will cover it up because it will come across. It will come across in the way that you talk to your prospect, in the way that the strategy session goes, in the tone of your voice. So take care of this first and then worry about strategy and tactics. If you truly believe in your product or your consulting offer or your coaching offer, it is your responsibility to sell as much as possible. Now, if you are struggling with this, if you have guilt, shame, or fear around money, I highly recommend reading Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. You can search this on Amazon and either get the paperback or the Kindle version. But this is all about the inner game of wealth. And if you have that guilt, shame, or fear, it's going to help you understand why you have that and how to move forward, how to move past that. So I highly recommend to everybody to read this book. The next thing is you have an obligation. If you believe that your product is truly life-changing for your prospect, it is your duty to sell as many people as possible into your consulting offer. If you don't believe in the value, you haven't figured out your offer yet. So you need to go back to the last module, go back to the drawing board, and figure out an offer that you truly believe in. So I want to urge you not to be an enabler. Your job is to confront your prospect about the reality of their current situation. It's to bring light to the issues that no one else will confront them about, like not making enough money, running their business poorly, not taking control of their life or their health or their relationships, and not taking responsibility for their situation. This is not always an easy conversation, but as soon as your prospect makes the decision to make a change in their life and work with you, their mood goes from uncomfortable with an edge of confrontation to ecstatic, okay? You're giving them the gift of transformation, and you're showing them that you believe in them and their ability to get what they want in life by accepting them into your program. So when you're dealing with awkward pauses and not letting your prospect off the hook for what they said they wanted, remember that you're doing them a favor and the energy will shift as soon as they make a decision, either yes or no. So if someone is a good fit for my program and I know I can get them results and I don't close them, I feel terrible, like I let them down. Not like I let myself down, like I let them down. I know they're going to keep doing the same things that have kept them in their current situation. And when I call them back 6 months later, just like our example, they really are in the same situation. So when someone spends 30 minutes on the phone telling you what's wrong with their current situation and they decide not to do anything about it, it can be very disheartening. And like I said, about 80% of the time, these people will be in the same exact place next year as they are now. Number 2 in the prerequisites is that your role is that of a trusted advisor. So you should always have your prospects' best interests at heart. That means if they're not a fit, you say so and you turn them away. You don't make an offer if they're not a good fit. If you think there's a better alternative, you tell them. If you think that your program is the solution to their problem, you do everything you can to enroll them in your consulting offer. You have to want the sale for the benefit of your client. If you need the sale because you need the money, you're probably not going to get it. They're going to sense that. It's going to come across and you're not going to close the sale. So you have to want the sale for your client's benefit. And if it's not in their benefit, you tell them that and you don't make an offer. Number 3 is you're selling transformation, not your time or program. Your offer is a means to an end. I know this is the 1,000th time I've told you this, but I'm going to keep telling you. What the prospect really wants is removal of pain, attainment of pleasure, and transformation. So I want you to think like a travel agent and sell the end result. Sell transformation as simply as possible. Don't focus on the features of your program, like the number of sessions, the workbook, the practice. Focus on the desired outcome. Your prospect isn't buying the features of the program. So if you want to book a trip to some exotic islands, do you want your travel agent to sell you the ticket with the most trip legs included? Do you want to hear about all the connecting flights and the layovers and the time driving to the airport and the kind of engines the plane uses and the credentials of the pilot? No. If you're like me, you do not. You want to hear about what it's going to be like drinking a cocktail on the deck with your spouse, staring out over the water, and not having a care in the world. In fact, a direct flight to this location is worth much more to you than a flight with 4 stopovers, isn't it? So it's the same with your consulting offer or your coaching offer. Sell the destination and get your clients there as fast as possible. Don't overcomplicate it. Include the bare minimum needed to get results that they're after, because that's all that matters. Not how many hours they get, not what kind of worksheets they get, not what kind of material, not the work they have to put in. How quickly can you get them to the islands? Or how quickly can you provide the transformation they came to you to find? The faster, the better. The fewer steps, the better. The quicker the transformation, the better. Number 4 is you have to play the numbers game. Sales is a numbers game, and you're not going to win every time. That's just the reality of the situation. In fact, the most successful salespeople get rejected the vast majority of the time. I'm going to use a very cliche baseball metaphor here, but you have to step up to the plate to hit a home run. A great baseball player bats a .3 batting average. That means 7 out of 10 times they step up to the plate, it's a failure. But they don't say, I'm only going to go to bat if the pitcher promises to throw 100% perfect pitches, or I'm only going to swing if it's right down the middle. They practice, they understand they don't need to have perfect pitches or hit a home run 100% of the time. Some of the time they'll hit singles, some of the time they'll hit triples, and some of the time they'll strike out, but it's all part of the process. So a lot of people that are new to sales will say, I just need to get in front of the right people. I don't need to learn sales. And yes, we want to attract qualified prospects, and we want to pre-qualify them and disqualify them as part of the process so you're not wasting your time. But this is not a 100% perfect process. So if you think you can have 100% perfectly qualified leads all the time and you're not willing to deal with the strikes and the base hits, you're not going to get very far. So most prospects could become either a strikeout or a home run, depending on how the strategy session goes. The same reason that Babe Ruth set the record for most home runs in a season, the same season that he did this, he also set the world record for most strikeouts in a season. So I can almost guarantee that if another consultant in your niche is more successful than you, that they're getting rejected more times than you are. And number 5 is what's hard at first becomes effortless with practice. Sales requires practice just like a sport does. Don't expect to show up and be perfect on your first strategy session. Give yourself the gift of getting good at this process, and I promise it will pay off for the rest of your life. So it can be painful at first, but it becomes natural with time. And guys, it really doesn't take that much time in the grand scheme of things. And anyone can become good at sales. Introverts, extroverts, non-salespeople, anyone, if you stick with it. So once you make these shifts, you're going to unlock an income multiplier. Clients will trust you and enroll more often. You'll enjoy the process more. You'll make more money, and you'll be able to serve more people. Now, I know some of you have different processes than others, and everyone's going to have a different niche. So you have to adapt this to your consulting offer. So you have the 6-figure sales script. You're going to make a copy of this, and we're going to run through it in the next video, and you're going to adapt this to your niche. Think of this as a framework more than a word-for-word script, except for the key phrases that I'm going to point out to you. You can experiment with this when the actual strategy sessions happen. And if you learn the script and you practice what we go over for 30 days in a row, I promise you will make more money than you ever have with your consulting business before. So I want you to make a copy of the script now in the link below, and you're going to take notes, and you can comment on it and adapt it as we go along. We're going to move on to the next video.